think that's as good as it gets. This is bootleg, I'll tell you that. Don't even know how to start anymore. Whew. Okay, so it's been a minute. I have not recorded a podcast for the longest time because I didn't want to. I also felt like I was feeling overwhelmed, so I was like, maybe not. So sometimes the inspiration just comes to you and you're like, oh, let's do it. Anyways, welcome to 2021. 2020 has been interesting. I love the name 2020. Now we're in 2021 and it's not as symmetrical. Personally for me, 2020 has been about, honestly, self-discovery. I know it was challenging for a lot of people. It was challenging for me in ways that I feel like I could cope, and I still felt it was like a really excellent year. Sure, we had the pandemic. I even got it. However, I feel like it was just a time to like slow down, rest and reconnect and just feel like and follow an intuition and just be more centered, and that felt really good. And in the previous years, I think I was a lot more worried and just a bit all over the place, and this time I felt settled within myself. Doesn't necessarily mean that felt good all the time, but just more insightful and just cool, like with the lack of pain, but pain in other ways. Anyways, we're here today because we are going to talk about the 20 things I learned in 2020. 1. Ride your own wave. So this is like this podcast, potentially YouTube. You know, it's not that I'm necessarily good at it. This is so much more about not looking left, not looking right, not looking at what Sally is doing over there, you know, with her fitness blog. You don't have to look at what your friends are doing. You don't have to compare your body. You don't have to look at who's, you know, successful and like who's got more money and who's doing well for themselves in their career, who's got a boyfriend, who's got a husband, who's got nothing, who's got a girlfriend. None of that matters. What matters is what you're doing, what you want to do. So ride your own wave, do your own thing, and just, you know, curate your own little bubble of where you don't feel overwhelmed by other people's content, or how other people look. Just do your own thing. And 2, it's basically like, just create your own shit. It might be shit, right? But it's your shit. And that's the point. Just create your own shit. Do what you want to do that makes you happy, because at the end of the day, no one really, like, people like to care what other people are doing and just admire them and enjoy their content. But at the end of the day, everyone goes back to worrying about what they're doing and what they're contributing to the world. So at the end of the day, you just need to worry about what you're doing. And if you want to play with ideas, if you don't want to do anything and you just want to go for walks and you just want to paint at home, or you want to do ab exercises all day, or you want to like sit in bed and read a book all day, just do what you want. At the end of the day, do what you want and do what makes you happy, whatever that might be. I think sometimes we think things that will make us happy are if we follow this productivity, you know, this productivity list and how to be productive and how to do this. And at the end, you know, to me, I find that all very overwhelming. So when I just got rid of all the noise and was just like, what does Sabira want to do? And to be honest, I want to make a shitty little podcast and a questionable YouTube video. So here we are. And I want to apply to like artist residences in like Scotland and just type away at that, doodle and cut carrots and stuff. So I don't know, just do what you want. I think, you know, just do what makes you happy. You don't have to think what will make you happy is what other people will tell you will make you happy. 3, cut your losses. Cut your losses. And for me, this is highlighted in the realm of men. But it can also relate to like other stuff. Once you start to feel what is right for you and you start to think about what is it that you want, And for example, that I can give is that I started talking to someone and I really liked the idea of him and the vision of him. But I started to realize he maybe wasn't speaking the way that I liked. But I was like, no, I could just meet him and see what happens. And then he wasn't proactive and suggesting that we should meet up. So I was like, you know what? I'm a proactive person. Let me suggest this. So I gave him a space. I was like, hey, it would be nice for us to connect and maybe have a Skype session. I gave him 1 week. On that Sunday, I was like, I can sense this dude isn't going to get me what I want. And what I want is someone proactive, someone who makes me feel worthy, someone who makes me feel special, someone who makes me feel valued and that I'm the most amazing woman he's ever met in his life. He's not doing that. So he needs to go. And bye. Bye. It took time to get there. It took maybe like a few weeks. But at the end of the day, just cut your losses. When you realize you're not really getting what you want out of a situation, doesn't have to be within like the realms of like relationships. Just be like, peace out, enjoy life and live the adventure. Boom. Number 4, family is really important. So I've kind of been, for a few years, I thought I was a lone wolf. But what I started to realize is that in those moments I was alone and I'm very independent, there was always someone in my life, whether it was a friend, whether it was a boyfriend, or whether my family was there all the time. Wait, what's my point? Coming into the Rona period, all my family decided to leave the country and enjoy their time in Malaysia. And for example, my aunt went back to Cornwall and my uncle went to Oxford, so I was literally in London alone. And I just started having memories of all the laughter we had, all the beautiful moments of just hanging out with my family and just laughing and just having fun, cycling around, skiing, just being silly at home. And I was just like, damn, I have a really special family and they're really important and I want to be around them. Like, they're really important to me. They make me feel loved and special even when, I don't have a relationship or, I don't have my friends near me, but my family is always there. Sometimes it feels like they're not and they're, absent, like mentally and emotionally, but they're there. If I reach out, they would be there. And I miss those moments. I was supposed to cover the bloody, washing machine. Feeling lonely is natural. And this is something I've said before. We are people, we're human beings, and we've come from 2 people coming together. So, naturally, we are, accustomed to being more social. And so, during a period of where I had to stay home completely, and also, even when I could venture outside, I just had to admit to myself, and it was really hard, and I was like, I feel lonely. And then it was like, am I not good enough? Why do I feel lonely? Am I not good enough for myself? What is it that I'm lacking that is just not enough? And you know what? It's okay to feel natural. It's natural to feel lonely, and that's okay. And just allow yourself to feel the discomfort of those emotions and let them exist. And then get on with point number, 2, do your own share. Leading on from that, feel uncomfortable. And this is about the emotions that go through us when we are by ourselves. We just kind of reach for a phone, we reach things to fill our brain and just try to escape these feelings. And sometimes you just need to be feel really sad. I feel quite shitty. Feel all these negative emotions, because generally we feel happy emotions, we're fine. But when we feel, so let's continue. So, when we feel good emotions, there's no good or bad emotions, they're just emotions and they exist next to each other. So it's we're okay with feeling happy, but when we feel sad, we're no, this is uncomfortable, this is awful, I have to get myself out of it. Which is a good way to be, because you don't want to sit in sadness for too long. But I do recognize that sometimes when you're feeling mopey and a bit low, just allow yourself to feel and slow down and go with the seasons of yourself. Number 7, your body is great and it changes. So if I look at my body from when I was like 15, 17, 24, 26, 28, 29, my body is constantly changing. And it took me about 2 years to kind of get into the rhythm of figuring out that it's okay that my body is changing. I look as good as I think I looked back in the day, because even when I was 17 or 23 or 24, I still thought my body wasn't exactly what I wanted to be. Your body will never be exactly what you envision it to be sometimes, but what you can do for those moments is love your body exactly the way it is. And your body will keep changing, and with each change, it will be as beautiful as it ever was. You know? As beautiful as it ever was. Number 8, be assertive. Take out that gun like a queen, right? Assert yourself. Ask for what you want, okay? Ask for what you want. Establish that. What you want, you deserve to get what you want. You deserve to ask what you want. If you never ask, you never get. And then, for example, you ask a situation and it answers your question, you have your answer and you have the tools to move forward. Establish your boundaries. What are you comfortable with? What do you want? Let them know. Do not allow or enable bad behavior. If someone has bad behavior, you need to call it out and you need to ask that to change and to stop. Do you understand? Because if you, like a child, if you reward, so if they have bad behavior and you don't say anything, they're going to keep doing it and they're going to push and push and push. And if you don't stop it in its tracks, it will continue. And if they don't want to change and it does continue, it just means that you're not supposed to have this person in your life. They're not willing to be the best selves for you. Like, don't be afraid to shake people off. This is also relating to cutting your losses. It used to take me 6 months. Now it takes me between 2 days and, let's say, a month. I'll start to gauge and then I'll be like, nah, not for me. 9. How do I say this in the politest way possible that will embrace my cultural background? Be prude. You have the key. So by prude, the way it works, right? I've started to understand biology, human nature. There may be different situations for different people, but ultimately, from what I've understood, and I'm 29 now, I might change my mind in 10 years, when you engage in casual entanglements with the opposite gender. Now, as a woman, I'm saying about myself, and you can relate this to whatever, you constitute to. Why is that nose so itchy? If you want something, if in your mind you're looking for the framework of commitment, something engaging, someone interactive, someone who will kind of work with you and argue with you and work things out and have fun and laugh and all this and that, if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, when you meet someone that you like, right, be prude, as in don't engage in casual entanglements quickly for 2 reasons. 1, if you have different motives, if you're trying to achieve something bigger and better and more committed for you, engaging in something casual will tend to get you attached to a person and just take energy for you to kind of get yourself out of it and put your energy elsewhere. Also, if this person liked you actually and wanted to get to know you, what tends to happen is that when you engage in casual intimacy too quickly, their emotions just shut down. They can't help it, but they're just kind of like, well, yeah, been there, done that. I'm not gonna really, it's almost like they don't have to prove themselves enough to get everything is the best part of you. You can choose to do what you want, right? But intimacy is a really private thing between two people, of like energetical exchanges. If you get to that point without gauging if this person is good enough for you in your life, it doesn't give you time to disconnect from them even when you realize they are not the one. And quite often I found that when I've withheld, I've had the time to figure out if I actually like this person. And quite often I find that I actually don't. And I'm like, well, thank God I didn't know. So be prude. You hold the key. And assess them, figure them out, let them jump through hoops, let them, like when you pick your friendships, there are certain criteria and responsibilities friends have to meet to be close to you, and that goes the same for like the dudes that you meet. 10, you're going to die, and that's cool. So live. Live your best life. Your best life could be anything you want to do. Ride your own wave. 11, play with ideas. This is along the way of riding your own wave. If you find there's something you want to do, if you want to write, if you want to read a book, just play. Like, figure things out for yourself and do what you want. Like, experiment with things. Like, no one is judging you but yourself, and you don't need to judge yourself. You just need to play with ideas and experiment and try things out. A good book to read about this is called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's a lady who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And I like her concept because she was just kind of like, we, like, as kids, we used to play with stuff, and they used to give us ideas, and we just used to be more at peace and calmer, and just allowing ourselves to express ourselves. And so as adults, we don't tend to play anymore. And so just play with your ideas. 12, I discovered what a burnout feels like. I thought I had lost all hope to live. I thought I was like worthless. I thought I had no place in this world. And what it actually was that I was experiencing a burnout. Now, burnout is when you push yourself for so long, and you try to do things, and you watch what other people's doing, and you're like measuring yourself in the world, and you're just like, go, 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 go. Eventually, you don't give yourself time to just be and stop doing things and just allow yourself to just be. You'll lead yourself into a burnout, and it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And you're just kind of like, there's nothing I love doing anymore. Like, at one point I was like, I don't think I want to do interior design. I have no love for this. I have no passion. It doesn't feel like anything is interesting to me. You don't feel full of yourself. And you should feel full of yourself. So once you get these symptoms, maybe you can gauge that you're in a burnout, and then you can like figure out what you need to do to either get yourself out of it or stop yourself from going further into it. Or maybe going into it will help you get out of it. But just know, when you're feeling all those awful emotions, that perhaps that's something you need to look at, of how you need to just let yourself be. I figured this out from just like doing and existing and being, and someone was like, I think what you're describing is a burnout. And I was like, oh. 13, gracefully throw in the towel. And this is connected to cutting your losses. Do it with elegance, with the graceful flick of the wrist. Like, if things aren't working out for you, if you start an idea and you're like, I don't really feel like doing this anymore, that's cool. It's fine. You do what you want. If you start a few ideas and then you want to try something else, or you want to come back to it, and just, it's okay to give up certain things. Like, for example, if you're like chasing your dream, and like, there are certain things that like you're like, oh, I don't know if this is what I want to do, and you're just like, oh well, okay, bye. I don't know if this relates, but I was listening to Zach Sang interviewing Ariana Grande, and she was talking about how when she creates songs, and often she'll start the beginning, she'll start something, and they'll kind of pick it up and play with it and see what happens, and then she'll leave it and like, oh, let's start something else. And there's just like lots of starting points, and when you feel like you can come back to it. So that's, I found, quite useful. Why is my nose so itchy? 14, people are thinking of you. So when you start to feel like you're not worth anything, that no one loves you, no one cares for you, just know that people are thinking about you, and you obviously don't know this. Like, when you don't hear from anyone for days on end, you're thinking, no one's actually thinking about me. Like, what's the point of my existence? You'll start to realize maybe a few weeks down the line, a few months down the line, that people are thinking of you. They just don't tell you. And that you do matter. You matter in a way that a drop matters to the ocean. Like the ocean is meant, yeah, as a Rumi quote, you know, you are the ocean in a drop, and people are thinking of you, and they really like you. And if you think they don't like you, maybe think about why that is, and then if you can change that, and if you can't, ride your own wave. 15, say less. Don't wrestle with the pigs in the mud. When you hear people talking about stupid points of view that you don't agree with, you don't need to say anything to it, to be honest. You don't need to engage in anger. I say this because I've got riled up and I'm just like, rah, you know, and you're just like, everyone has different points of view, and that's okay. You don't need to get angry about it. Getting angry is not a solution. But I think when you say less, you can listen more, and then maybe reflect, and then you conclude to yourself. You don't need to prove it to anyone that you disagree with their point of view. 16, buy less, save more. It will make you feel more confident. And this is like a day by day thing. Sometimes I'll be like, should I buy pastry? Should I buy coffee? Should I buy that really cute shirt? But actually, when you get to the end of the month and you realize you haven't bought anything, you're like, whew, that's lucky. And now I have these savings I can fall back on and I feel safe. If anything happens, I have something I can tap into. I think if you can manage your money well, you can buy yourself a treat every month, whatever that might be. I think when you allocate your finances, you can buy things more consciously, the things that you really want and love. And you can also keep yourself comfortable and safe and confident when you have those savings to be able to tap into, because you will need to use them at some point. Trust me, like if the money is there, you will use it eventually and for something. But just save more, buy less. Be really conscious about what we do buy and whether we will love it forever. 17, decaf is life. Honestly, like at some point I was drinking like 2 coffees a day, and I recognized like when I didn't have it, it just gave me the worst headache. And I was like, why am I depending on something that makes me feel so awful when I don't have it? Like that's such a toxic relationship. And decaf is great because you get the same taste, but you get the same feelings of having that, you know, that cup of coffee or that cup of tea, but you're just not dependent on it. You know, you run your own life and the thing doesn't run you, it doesn't control you. So I love decaf for that. There's like Illy and Lavazza coffee, which also do decaf, and those are like the best Italian coffees that I've tasted. And Yorkshire Gold usually have that really amazing, you know, they make amazing teas, but you can also get decaf Yorkshire and they taste just as good. 18, don't be silly. Lock your bike indoors, but definitely get a bike. So when I started cycling, I was just going from point A to point B, but I just felt like I could see so much of the world. I felt so free and agile because you just know that you can get places on a bike, and I was so fit. Like just walking, I had like muscles in my leg, and it just made me feel so good and so free and so happy having a bike. Now I made the silly point, I had a really fantastic bike. I had a Brompton, and I locked it outside, and I was like, oh, you know, I can just lock it outside, it'll be fine. No. With a Brompton, you need to get the best lock you can find. You need to make sure you insure it, because if anything happens, you can get the same bike back. But you know what? Even that is not secure. Just take care of your bike and bring it indoors. You know? What's that sound? Bring it indoors. Don't leave it outside. Just keep it safe, because when you lose it, you're like, shit, that was a good bike. Damn it. And now you need to save all over again to get another good bike. So yeah, lock your bike indoors and be really, really careful with it, especially really fantastic, beautiful bikes, which I think you should still definitely invest in a bike. 19, this is again going with the ride your own wave. You don't need to run. If you don't feel like running, don't run. Just go for a walk. This is what I found. Every time I thought about running, I just didn't do anything instead, because it just felt so overwhelming, and I felt like I didn't want to do anything. And so I was like, let me just go for long, beautiful walks and indulge myself. Think, listen to music, look at things, poke leaves, stroke the grass, just walk. And I would do the same amount of walking I mean, obviously it's faster if you run, it's like in and out, but I think in comparison to thinking that, okay, I'm going to run or nothing, go for a walk instead. Like, walks are just so amazing. So if you walk, cycle, run, love those things. 20. Act like a dream girl. You know, like, be the woman of your dreams. If you're thinking about, why isn't this guy treating me like a dream girl? You need to act like a dream girl. You are the dream girl. You know, you are it. You are the woman. You encompass everything you want to be. Who you are is exactly who you need to be. Where you are is exactly where you need to be. And any dude or any person who comes into your life that makes you feel lack thereof or lesser than, you need to show them what's up. And they either need to go, but at the end of the day, within you, act like a dream girl. Act like the woman that you want to be. And with that is everything. And I hope that was good. You know, happy 2021. Let's see what the year brings us. May it be beautiful, wonderful, filled with self-growth. You know, if there's sadness, that's okay. Just let's see what's happening. Let's see what's up. Let's see where we are this time next year. Today is January the 3rd. I wonder what we'll be doing January the 3rd, 2020.
Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him.
But yeah, we've got this year. Let's see what's gonna happen. But yeah. Bye. Bloops. Things. What is wrong with me? This is so bad. Okay. I'm going to show you my New Year's makeup. It's like shiny and stuff.